It's that time of year again. Spotify Wrapped is out. But while we're all enjoying the fun, Wrapped isn't as innocent as it seems, and it goes deep. Every year, Spotify Wrapped takes over our feeds, our minds, our souls, fueled by pride, pretentiousness, or self-deprecation, depending on who you're talking to and what their rap says. The entire thing is built on user data, which gets presented and packaged into fun colors, cute themes, and cheeky commentary. The idea itself is somewhat simple. Get people's data of what music they listen to throughout the year. Make it cute, give it some fun captions, give it some neon colors, and then we might forget how creepy it is that Spotify has been listening to us all year. We, the users, get a fun day, a fun playlist, a cute thing to share with our friends, and Spotify gets all the benefits of free advertising. Wrapped originally launched in 2015 and was called Year in Music. It proved popular and the brand relaunched the feature under the name Wrapped in 2016. Although it started with just some loose information on your top songs and your top artists, now it includes everything from your musical hometown, your astrological sign musically, and your musical aura, and they make it more and more shareable every year. It's been a huge success for Spotify. Like, Wrapped goes viral every year, and I can't think of any other thing that goes viral annually for 7 years in a row. Like, that is crazy. But it's not all neon colors, sound, towns, and auras. There's a dark side to Spotify Wrapped. Wrapped wasn't always the stunner you see today. It has had a massive glow up over the years. It used to be sent out just as an email link that took you to a microsite. But since 2019, the data is available right there in the app in a customized video format that you can share to your Instagram stories with just a click. This idea, though, was allegedly created by an intern who never got credit for it. Jewel Harm, who was working as a Spotify design intern when she conceived the idea, revealed in 2020 that not only did she not know her design and concepts would be used for Wrapped, but that the company never credited her for her ideas. It was her elaborate design concepts that brought us the Wrapped we know and love in 2024. She shared these images, which clearly show an early concept for Spotify Wrapped, and said, "I really invented the Spotify Wrapped story concept as an intern project in 2019. And they haven't looked back since. LaMayo." She carried on to say, "I was a person that had Spotify and loved Wrapped, but it was just a link they would send at the end of the year. When I gave the presentation at the end of my intern project, it was received really well. They liked the idea. That was my last day." Spotify claims, though, that this wasn't accurate, telling Refinery29, since Spotify's Wrapped concept was first introduced in 2013, hundreds of employees have contributed ideas and creative concepts that have made the experience what it is today. While ideas generated during Spotify's internship program have on occasion informed campaigns and products, based on our internal review, that is not the case here with Spotify Wrapped. It's unfortunate that things have been characterized otherwise. It's true, though, that something as complex as Spotify Wrapped, it's hard to sort of credit it to one person. But it does seem like Jewel made a big contribution. Although this caused a lot of disappointment from fans, Jewel did point out that this is actually common practice for big corporations. She said, "It's not just Spotify personally. They're cool people. But these corporations, they own all their intern content." Anyway, the overall goal of Spotify Wrapped is to promote Spotify, right? And then we share our little data as sort of a personal branding exercise. That's cool too, right? Yeah, it is. But for artists, it's kind of prioritizing self-promotion over artist support. It's hard for artists to make money on Spotify. And people have been raising concerns about the platform's royalty system for a really long time. Spotify pays artists between 0.003 and 0.005 cents per stream on average. That works out as approximate revenue split of 70-30. So that 70% goes to the artist or the rights holders of the song and 30% goes to Spotify. It's important to remember, though, that the rights holder of a song could be the artist, the publisher, the label, the songwriter, the master recording holder, and that 0.003 cents is not going to go far in that case. Tracks on Spotify need to have at least 1,000 streams in the previous 12 months to generate royalties. And song streams are updated whenever a user listens for more than 30 seconds or longer. So 30 seconds on a song counts as one listen. Spotify says, though, that this is not the vibe, and their website says, contrary to what you might have heard, Spotify does not pay artists royalties according to a pay-per-play or pay-per-stream rate. The royalty payments that artists receive might vary according to differences in how their music is streamed or the agreement they have with labels or distributors. Okay, go on, girl. Give us nothing. Okay, so there's more, but I'm really bad at math. I'm going to do my best, but let's get into it. In June, Spotify announced it was raising prices for most of its existing plans, raising the cost by about $1. But SEC filings show that the company's executives and former executives have unloaded a whopping $1.1 billion worth of Spotify stocks since the start of the year. That's an insane amount of money. That is the equivalent of 314 billion streams. For context, Perfect by Ed Sheeran has about that amount, and like we all know that song. Like that is a big song. 314 million streams, a lot of streams. Now that money has not gone to the artists you love in 2024. It's gone to the guys who essentially own the store that the music is in. And to think about it like that, it's making a lot of people uncomfortable, right? A lot of people are upset or just confused as to why these profits aren't trickling down to the artists who are creating and providing the music for the platform. Compensation for artists is crucial for sustaining a robust music industry. And we all love music, right? So we gotta pay these artists, you know? We gotta pay the bills somehow. Come on. Spotify dominates the music streaming space with about 31.7% market share and over 640 million users. It can seem like a real choice to not pay artists some of that fat money. You know what I mean? There's also concerns about data. Over the years, media outlets and creators have pointed out the extensive amount of personal data that Spotify collects and leverages for free advertising. Obviously, no one has to share their Spotify Wrapped, but it is kind of made for you to share, and it kind of isn't really made or aimed at personal enjoyment. Spotify uses a robust artificial intelligence system to not only recommend you music, but also predict what you'll like. And the company also mined data at one point for these really oddly specific ads. They were like picking on users with these billboards and said stuff like, "Dear person who listened to Sorry 42 times on Valentine's Day, what did you do?" If that were me, I would be fuming, honestly. Like, don't expose me like that. Don't expose me like that. Sharing what songs you're listening to might not feel super worrying in regards to your privacy and your data. Like, honestly, like, I don't care if people know that I listen to Espresso 78 times in a day once.
Are you about to sing at me?
But the music we listen to can actually reveal quite a lot about our personal lives. Like, if somebody listened to Moana like 500 times this year, you could safely assume that they have a child. Or if someone listened to Driver's License by Olivia Rodrigo every single day for an entire year, you can quite safely assume that they're going through something. And all of this data is super valuable to advertisers. It's more than demographic data like people under 30 love Chapel Roan. It's data on your moods, your habits, your tastes. I feel like that amount of data could really paint you a little picture of a person. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of personal. I mean, I guess it is a little creepy. It kind of reminds me that all of these big companies are always listening in some way, and they're probably doing the same thing that Spotify's doing, but without presenting that data like back to you. Evan Greer, the director of digital rights advocacy group Fight for the Future, says Spotify has done an amazing job of marketing surveillance as fun and getting people to not only participate in their own surveillance, but celebrate it and share it and brag about it to the world. Chilling. I feel very uncomfortable now. Back in the days of Windows Media Player or just iTunes on the computer, you could see your most played songs and artists all the time whenever you wanted. It used to be the norm that you could just like see that information. But since Spotify took the music streaming throne, they've heavily limited which stats we can access, and they're making us wait till the end of the year to find out. They've taken what was once freely available and packaged it as a very successful marketing tool. I mean, that's kind of dog, right? That's kind of dog. And of course, like there's things like Receiptify that can show you some of your Spotify data, you know, without using Wrapped, but the accuracy of these third-party applications is somewhat questionable. It's hard to tell when people are talking shit when Wrapped comes out and they're like, oh my god, I actually did not listen to this song this year. I would never ever listen to that song. There's actually a little bit of truth to that. Just by virtue of being released at the end of the year, songs that come out in January or February are going to have more plays simply because you had more time to listen to them. Say, for example, you found a new artist in February. You love their album, you smash it for weeks, and a couple of tracks from that album that you love stay in your rotation all year, but you kind of forget about them. The numbers stacking up on those songs are what's going to push it to your most listened to of the year, even if it doesn't feel like that. So like for me, that French song from Arcane, I've been listening to it literally every day since it came out. out, but since it was later in the year, it probably won't get a mention on my Wrapped, which is upsetting because I really, really do like that song. There's a lot of reasons to boycott Spotify Wrapped, but we all know we won't. You could call Wrapped a lot of things. A celebration of music, a personal branding exercise, a celebration of data and big company spying. It's kind of all of the above, but the main thing about Spotify Wrapped and why we're going to continue to love it forever, it's fun. It's super fun and cute. And it's something we can all enjoy together. Presenting data like this to people is also clearly a really effective tool with like Reddit, Apple Music, even YouTube coming out with their sort of own version of Wrapped. So honestly, it's probably just gonna keep happening and we'll probably see more companies come up with other fun data presentations for us at the end of the year. I personally hope they don't do one for Uber Eats because I'm not actually sure I would emotionally survive that. But happy Spotify Wrapped, everybody.